Welcome in, fans, to another episode of the Two Line Pass podcast. I'm Randon. Here with me, as always, is Dustin and Ryan. We've got a great episode coming up previewing the 4-game road trip that starts today. Dustin, Ryan, how are you guys tonight?
Feel like throwing a tennis ball against a wall right now. I'm in a great mood.
You forget. Helps me forget. Ryan, how you doing?
Doing good, it's been a good week, or it's going to be a good start to the week.
It is when the Mammoth get their win tonight against the Buffalo Sabres. But before we go to Optimism Town, let's take a trip to Negative Town, my home city, guys. Come on in. The water is fine. The Mammoth dropped 2 in a row after winning 7. They dropped 2 in a row, a devastating defeat at the hands of the Edmonton Oilers, and then a tough game at home against the Tampa Bay Lightning. Neither was an especially exciting game from the Utah Mammoth. Maybe that seven wins in a row taking a little bit out of them, but no need to panic. We lost to 1-7, so we can rebound. But it was very disheartening. What did you guys take away from the losses against Edmonton and Tampa Bay?
I think the troubling thing, you mentioned this last time, is like we're not getting production from like both the top 6 and the bottom 6, right? Against Edmonton, all of our goals came from, I think, the kid lines. No, Hayton had 1, but like it was kid line and Hayton. And then Tampa Bay was just the bottom 6. In the episode last week, you talked about how we're not getting production from the bottom 6. And against Tampa, we get it. We get goals from Yamamoto and Kraus, but the top 6 do absolutely nothing. And like, I don't want to overreact here, but it might be time to put out an APB for Clayton Keller. Like, where is he? Like, I don't want to. I'm pretty sure he's still near the top of the team in terms of points, but I, for the life of me, can't remember like a clutch goal that we've seen from him this season. Like, he's just in the clutch. He's just disappeared, and he had chances. Against Tampa Bay, he had a breakaway early on in that game and couldn't score it. And then he had another one late in that Tampa Bay game that would have, I believe, given Utah the lead, 3-2, and he couldn't find it. And then I don't want to talk about Jack McBain just completely just losing an edge on his skate with a rebound that comes right back at him, which is what cost us the Edmonton game, essentially, is just bad rebounds being put back, and one comes perfectly back to McBain, and he's like, I'm going to lose the edge on my right skate and just go down and not even be able to put a shot on net. Like, but I think it's just troubling that we're not getting it from the top and bottom 6 in the same game.
Yeah, no, it absolutely is. And I do want to make a statement. I think I'd be remiss if I didn't, that if it is Nick Schmaltz who misses that McBain shot, on Twitter, everyone would be like, there's the Nick Schmaltz we know and love. That's him. Not a peep when McBain misses it. But Ryan, what'd you see in the 2 losses?
Not a whole lot of positive. There were some not necessarily negatives. We scored a couple goals. Not bad. I thought the third line, the Kraus-McBain line, particularly in the Tampa Bay game, was a lot better for the whole game. And not necessarily they're all going to show up on a score sheet, but I thought Tanev had a very productive game running around out there. McBain, not a great game, but he wasn't necessarily terrible. And then Kraus finally got a goal, and he was out there taking on 3 Lightning guys at one time. Thought that was, nice to see. Wish he would do that. Legitimately, every shift he has, that's all he has to do is that. But other than that, we all knew it was coming. Eventually, we had to lose. You can't win them all. The 2 teams we did lose to, I think, are better teams in the world, but not necessarily great teams. Tampa Bay is off to a shit year, and Edmonton is flawed as it gets, but also when Edmonton wants to be there, top of the line. I've had our moments.
Tampa got off to a really bad start, but I believe that Utah game was our 5th win in a row, so they're starting to turn it around.
They're back to Tampa Bay that we all know and love. Well, I guess hate. But I didn't think, we had some good plays necessarily on Bouchard, but that could just be Bouchard sucks in the Edmonton game. But I thought the guys, we're not necessarily not, we're getting chances, and we're doing what we do off the rush. It's just the last couple games, they have just not been able to keep a lead or hold a lead. They've just been getting off to a slow start, And once again, we're going back to last year, can't win games playing from behind the whole time. And we were doing really good about that at the beginning of the year, But these last 2 games, not so much.
And a lot like last year, the second period, especially against the Edmonton game, was just a backbreaker. How many times did we see performances like that last year? Home and road games, it didn't matter. It seemed like it didn't matter how many you scored in the first period. Here comes the second period. We go into the second period up 2-0 against Edmonton, and then they put up 5 goals in that second period against us. It was appalling. And I don't know what it is. Like, I don't know if they opened a rule book. Maybe Turney said, well, in Quebec, how we play is you only play the first and the third period. It's actually illegal to play second period hockey in Quebec. So you can't play it here in the States too. But I just want the Utah Mammoth to know that it is in fact not against the rules to play hockey in the second period. You can do it. Can do it. Somebody fact check me on that, but you can actually play hockey in the second period. And when they do, they win games. They go on 7-game win streaks, like even though in that 7-game stretch, they had some pretty shitty second periods too. But that is to say that just a bad period alone doesn't necessarily sink them. But imagine how good this team could be if we did play 3 periods in a hockey game, which is something that we did not get to see a lot last year. And I thought that that was something they had finally turned the corner of, where maybe the second period doesn't go exactly the way we want, but we limit the damage. But 5 goals against Edmonton, it cannot happen against any team, especially against Edmonton, who has, McDavid scored twice in that game. They've got 2 of the best players in the world. They will make you pay. If you make those mistakes, they will make you pay. Another thing that we can't do is win a goddamn face-off, guys. Still can't do it. The only team we crushed Tampa Bay. Well, guess what? Tampa Bay is one of only 3 teams that are worse at face-offs than us. And you know who the worst team at face-offs is? The Buffalo Sabres. So if you got 60% wins on your face-off, you may be able to get it against the Buffalo Sabres. But face-offs have got to be better if we expect to turn around in the second period.
If we're going to talk about things that need to get better, is it maybe time to start worrying about Vejmelka? Because his save percentage is down. It may have fallen a touch below 90. I know he's down towards the bottom of the league, especially just in terms of starters. And that, what wound up being a game-winning goal that Tampa Bay scored, that's way too light of a goal to be allowing in when you're 2-2, and just from that, just letting it on. I believe it, he'd be like off of his blocker, and it just kind of scoots in. Like you can't let that soft of a goal in a 2-2 game in the third period. And we've talked about before, Utah's really, really good at limiting shots on goal, so he's not facing as many shots. So he's not getting easy saves to kind of artificially boost that save percentage. But is it time to maybe start worrying about the veggie that we're seeing?
I think it is time. Now, this is something that if you listen to Arizona fans, right? So last year we're about as high as we can possibly be on veggie. And the Arizona fans didn't get to see that veggie. They kind of got to see a little bit what we're seeing now. Now, the only thing that matters really is wins. But if he can't keep winning, then it will be cause for concern, because last year you could point to statistics. His save percentages, goals against were incredible. So even without the wins, you could say Veggie is doing everything he can to win these games, and the team is not giving him the support he needs. Well, now there's games where the team isn't doing it and Veggie isn't doing it, and that scares me. That scares me, because is it a blip or is it a premonition? Ryan, should we be concerned?
Not necessarily. I think we're still early in the season. This could just be one of those things where give him a break, maybe let Vanacek take 2 starts, just give him a little mental break and then let him come back. That is the one downside, that we don't give up a whole lot of shots on goal or scoring chances. So that just means our goalie, whoever it is, has to be that much better and can't let in any soft ones at all. And Veggie letting in 5, even to Edmonton, that can't happen. But also, against Tampa Bay, we need to score more. We need to be better in front of him. And the Gunther, the kid line, they can't do it all by themselves. And right now, they are trying to do it all by themselves. And God save them. But when only one person per other line is chipping in, It's not good enough.
No, that brings it up to the power play, which has just not been up to snuff, nor has the penalty kill. The penalty kill is one of those things where it's like, when we have a good penalty kill, it looks really, really good. Like, we have a penalty kill that's unstoppable. We're only sitting at like 74% on the penalty kill, and towards the bottom of the league. We're right in the middle of the packet, 19% on the power play, but that's not good enough. You got to be above 20%, and if you get 3 or 4 chances in a game, you got to put one away. But against Tampa Bay specifically, like, we are back in the territory when we're like, please decline the penalty. Remember last year, that stretch of, I don't even know, it was like 28 power plays where we were negative in net power play percentage. Like,
It was
just
most
appalling.
of the year. Let's just be honest. It was most of the year we were trying to decline the penalties.
It was bad, and it's right there. We can't even get it in the zone. And there are times when it's just, again, when you do get it in the zone, you're still looking for that pass, or you're looking for that Gunther one-timer. And Gunther's one-timers, I gotta say, for as many game-winning goals as he has, they've been beauties, but he's been off point on a lot of his. He shoots wide of the net more often than any other player.
He had one on a power play against Tampa that came clean across the ice, and he had a quarter of that net just wide open, and he ripped it like a good distance wide. It wasn't close. It didn't graze iron. Like, he missed it pretty badly. And like, those are the types of goals, like, you give us that and the McBain putback, we probably win that game. Like, and those are as close to gimme goals as you get in the NHL. You have to score those like that. And if you're not going to score those, you're just not going to score on the power play.
That Gunther one-timer should be like a 90% conversion rate, and we just haven't seen it this year. He's been getting looks. There's been a few teams that have shut that play down, but they've gone through, you see it a lot during the first part of the year where everyone was mad that Nick Schmaltz was, too many of the power plays were going through him. That's because the one-timer to Gunther just wasn't available. But it has been available, and he hasn't been making teams pay for it. And that is literally the bread and butter. But I worry that too often we're looking for that setup. And if that's not going in, and then you've got Turney saying, no, we're doing all the right things. We're doing all the right things. These will go in. And it's like, I don't know, like, I understand that, but at the same time, I want a little more of saying, like, it's not just give us more chances and we'll get in. Because yes, if you give a team 100 power plays, they will score some. But if you get 100 power plays and you only score 15 goals, that is not enough. That is not enough to win and get to where we want this team to be.
You want to know what the problem is on our power play, or one of the problems? We only have one object, or we have 2 plays on our. We have one entry, which is just one guy try to gain the zone and then get it over to another guy and get set up that way. And then our shot is get it to Gunther. If you can figure out those 2 things, congratulations, you've just stopped the Utah Mammoth power play. You want to know what makes a good hockey team? Adapting, changing. We have, you can't just try to gain the zone every single time. Even on a power play, every now and then you're gonna have to dump it in and forecheck a power play. Or, Paterka can do it not on a power play. You don't think he can do it on a power play? That's kind of crazy. But we only run one thing where we just, we're one of the best teams off the rush, but that's it. It's the only time we're one of the best teams. We got to get better at being more adaptable and we're one of the more predictable teams in the league. It's very simple. If you can shut down the speed and you shut down Gunther's one-timer, you figured out the team. Congratulations. Sorry to throw it out there for everybody listening. That's it. And if we don't figure out how to not just run one game plan over, if you run one rushing play in football, you going to win a game? No. If you only throw sliders in baseball, are you going to win the game? No. It's not how it works. You got to have change and variable and do some new shit. It hasn't been working. Change it.
And to talk
before
about
it's too late.
If you talk about needing versatility, pop quiz for everybody at home and in the studio. How many points does a player who's not on the first power play line have on the power play this season?
No more than 2.
Second player line.
No more than 2.
Ryan says 2. Dustin says 0.
I say 0.
Is 0. Our
Our
second power
second-
play unit
our
doesn't
second-
have a single point.
I knew it was
Doesn't have a
zero,
single
but
point.
I wanted to have
You
some
wanted
hope.
to give
I
it-
wanted to have some hope.
And it's not even like, oh, somebody gets caught on a change and maybe a player on power play 2 sneaks into power play 1 and gets an assist. No. Schmaltz, Keller, Sergachev, Cooley, Gunther. Those are the only 5 players with power play points, and all 5 of them play on power play 1. How many games ago did we talk about it that maybe, just maybe, they needed to tweak something to give power play 2 a little bit of teeth? Because right now, Peterka's not getting any help whatsoever on power play 2. Nothing.
How
not
much
a
time,
zero.
though, is power play 2 even getting? 30
I
seconds?
think
25 seconds?
Against Tampa Bay, they got a sizable amount, and I'm pretty
Okay.
sure against Edmonton they got a sizable amount.
So-
but we'd have to look.
The
Somebody
part
fact check on that. The
part
amount
of that-
time.
that pisses me off, and this can kind of tie in because Buffalo is our next game. And as the podcast resident Buffalo expert, and I guess you could just call me a mammalian expert at this point, as a mammoth and Buffalo expert, and a panther. Holy shit. That's beside the point. Peterka is very, very good at just being in the right place at the right time, whether it be on a forecheck and causing a turnover, whether it be picking up a guy on the half boards, whatever it is. And if you're not, like, look at every goal he scored this year. It's been being in the right place at the right time. And usually it's caused by somebody, him, making a play and then him getting some kind of a pass, a rebound, something like that. But if you're not going to use it, put him on power play 1. What is it going to hurt? Like, I'm sorry, if you throw him on there, you can do a dump and chase. He can go and get the puck, have Keller retrieve it, throw it to Schmaltz, throw it to Gunther, bam. You got a goal. Like, I'm sorry, it's not that difficult. I don't know. Maybe it's a lot harder on the ice, but it probably is much harder on the ice. But the point remains, you got to mix it up. And Peterka is kind of being wasted by not being put on the first power play. Like, give him a chance. Like, mix it. You know what I mean? Like, what is it going to hurt?
At this point, I wouldn't mind a shakeup, even if it is Schmaltz who suffers for it, which I don't think would be the ideal swap, Schmaltz and Peterka, but hey, if our power play 1's the only thing that's going to work, might as well put the best 5 guys out there, you know? I just fact-checked it, so the second power play unit has about 11 minutes of power play time, and the first power play unit has just over 44 minutes.
Okay, but what are they averaging per power play?
20%.
So,
I don't know the per 44
30 seconds?
to 11, so 20%
We'll call it-
of the power play.
That's less than 30.
okay,
Yeah.
see, that's...
30 is 25%. So it's less than 30. It's less than an average of
Look,
30 seconds per
as
power
much
play.
as I love our top power play unit, if they're getting that much time and nothing's really happening, which it hasn't been, let the other guys give it a try. You know what I mean? Like, having one unit is kind of you. If you're going to have one unit, you might as well just throw out, like Randy was saying, the best 5 guys for the full 2. Like, you might as well just do that. And it's clearly not working.
It is crazy that Bear, who all last season was just something that hasn't worked for a couple of games, I got to switch it up. I got to move this guy here, move that guy there, switch it up, whatever, is not doing anything different with the power play. Like, he's not changing the entrances, he's not changing the lineups, he's not changing anything that we do about the power play. And I know at one point last year we talked about how, decline the penalty, and it worked itself out. But I cannot for the life of me remember if they changed anything last year or if it just naturally became better or if the law of averages said, well, they got to start scoring sometime, so now they're going to score in bunches for a little bit, and then it's going to go right back. Like, I might have to look into that and maybe write up a piece for twoline.com, but it's just weird to me that he's not changing, he's not doing anything different.
The adjustments he's made is he flips a coin before every game. And if it's heads, he puts in Liam O'Brien. If it's tails, he puts in Kyler Yamamoto. And I think at this point, guys, everybody in the arena
see
at
spicy
home,
tuna again.
Thank you. Everybody realizes that Kyler Yamamoto gives this team the best chance to win every single game. Every single game. Because Tuna's not even bodying players, right? Like, he's asking for fights and getting taken out of the play. But even the guys who could beat him because he's not the best fighter, nobody wants to fight. They're just like, nah, like, look at the scoreboard. We're winning. We don't need this.
The place where he could have like had an impact was a home game against Tampa Bay. Like the team that we said, they're not even trying to win. They just want to fight. and you're at home, so he can go out there, get his ass kicked in front of the home crowd, skate off to the box going like this and pump up the crowd. Like that's the purpose that he serves, but it still would have been lost in what Yamamoto gave us.
I was
Like
gonna say,
no, and the way that I know it's the tide is turning amongst the fans is I sent a tweet saying I better not see Spicy Tuna ever play for this team again. And all of the responses that I got were, "You're right. He's not good. He doesn't provide anything. You're right. He needs to go into this. I hope he's not on the team by the end of the year." Like all of the responses, like a tweet like that last year would have got at least 50% of the responses saying, "No, I love him. He's a fan favorite. He serves a purpose. He has a role." And that, like it's the tide is completely turned. He does not need, barring an injury, he does not need to be on the ice for this team ever again.
And can you imagine? So if you're Liam O'Brien and you're trying to pitch to Turney, hey, let me play. Curtis Douglas for Tampa Bay, who used to play for the Utah Mammoth, played for us in the preseason, absolutely lit up the crowd in his preseason games. That dude's a fighter. He would have fought O'Brien at any moment in the game. Didn't matter what the score was. Curtis Douglas would have fought Liam O'Brien. So if you're Liam O'Brien and you think you can take 6'9" Curtis Douglas, wouldn't you say, Turdy, hey, put me in. Let me show you what I can do. And if he wins the fight against Curtis Douglas, which he wouldn't have, but if he did, then he's right back to the lore of the Viking man. He's there, but he stopped playing that physical play, and he's like, oh, no, I actually can play the game of hockey, but then he doesn't. And even with his goal, which I'm happy for him, Tuna, I'm so happy for you. You got your goal. You put yourself up on the bingo card. Like, that's great. But Yamamoto's the future. And then if you want to bring a rookie in, then replace the rookie in Yamamoto, and you can go that way. Or let Carconi go because we know you want to, Turney.
so just with the Tuna thing, even if Tuna went to fight
Curtis Douglas. Yeah.
Curtis Douglas, he wouldn't have done it because he would have got rocked. I would rather see Jack McBain, who this season has already fought a monster of a man and did way better than Tuna has done in a fight in his own weight class and size matchup, and then have Yamamoto out there getting to the front of the net and getting shots on goal. I would do that trade with McBain taking the fight and Yamamoto in the lineup than just having Tuna there to lose a fight. Because at least when Bane does fight, it's at the right time and for the right reason and wins, which I know winning the fight's not necessarily everything in hockey, but it does to a certain, to an extent, it kind of matters when your enforcer is getting his ass kicked every single time he fights. Kind of embarrassing. But at least when McBain does it, he's providing something to the team because he's not scoring. We can kill two birds, one stone by having McBain take that fight, hypothetically.
We kind of talked about this last episode, and I want to ask it again. Do you think that McBain is having a difficult time maybe adjusting to that new role as maybe like the enforcer of the team who can score, trying to be like the Tom Wilson-esque type player? Because last year, 8 of McBain's 13 goals came before December 7th when he was playing with Cooley and Gunther. After December 7th, he went on a drought and only scored 5. When he gets put on that third line, now last year we could just look at Bugstad and say Bugstad is just dragging that entire line down. Krause can't do anything, McBain can't do anything because Bugstad's there. Well, now you've got McBain playing his natural center position and seems to not be able to do anything. And I'm wondering if there is a crisis of identity where McBain's not sure what his role on the team is. Is his role to try to be a scoring depth player, or is his role to be a hit first, punch people when necessary, enforcer type? And the goal, the model, is Tom Wilson. And can McBain ever become Tom Wilson? Because I don't know.
Think the goal is Tom Wilson, but let's kind of remember Randon to Tom Wilson's early days. He wasn't very scory. He was kind of in the same position McBain was, where he was just punchy, and it was more I'm gonna hit people, get suspended, then get punchy. You know, like Tom. I think McBain's just having kind of a rough patch. I want to believe in Jack McBain as a hockey player. I think he can come out of this, whatever it is. It probably is getting readjusted to playing with Krause and Tanev, or it's not, who is it? Yamamoto, not Tanev, which it should be Tanev, and I will continue to preach that it should be Tanev, and that third line would become perfect. But I think a lot of it is kind of readjusted. But yeah, he was playing on the top line. You're like, yeah, he's going to get more points playing with Keller and Schmaltz. And I think he is probably having a rough time adjusting to that and realizing, shit, I'm not going to score 15 goals again. I'm not going to score whatever it was. I should probably just readjust to being a bottom six guy. And I think he will. I think we just got to give him a little bit. You know what I mean? Some guy, he's just having a rough patch right now.
Just flip-flop McBain and Hayton. Just put McBain up on the top line where he has an impact, and move Hayton down to the third line so that our bottom six has a little bit more scoring pop. And then
back.
Just that's probably
once
the most
Kerfoot's back,
thing.
it'll be Kerfoot, Krause, and McBain. He'll get his goals again. It'll be perfect.
I hope they don't move him back up to the top because Hayton's the only one who can win a face-off on this team apparently. So please don't let him.
Stanley's been winning lately. I know we mentioned last week that he was down below 50%, but I think those last two games, I think he did really well in the face-offs in those two games.
He's at 51.1% on his face-offs now, so he's getting back to the Kevin Stenlund we know and love that can win a face-off, but Barrett Hayton can, and nobody else can. And I'm sorry,
he won
Logan,
66% against Edmonton, and then against Tampa Bay, he 75%.
See? He's up, and he should have just as much of an impact against Buffalo. Like I said, Buffalo is the worst face-off team in the league, but they are very good at home. So let's shift our focus to the upcoming games that start with the reuniting of the Kesselring and Doans. Josh Doan, who has established himself as a very integral part of this Buffalo Sabres team, a team that is good at home, 5-1-3, I believe, at home. Have not won on the road yet, but won't matter because tonight's game is in Buffalo. So it is a full reuniting of the squad. They won't give us any welcome homes. I bet. I guess they could probably give a tribute to Peterka, but I would like Peterka to put up 3 on Buffalo because no matter how good Buffalo is at home, the fact of the matter is the Utah Mammoth should be a better team than the Buffalo Sabres, and we should walk out of Buffalo with a win. Ryan.
Hate to cut you off on this. If the Buffalo Sabres give JJ Peterka a welcome back tribute video or whatever, I'm gonna turn the TV off and protest. No, it's stupid. He was there for like 3 years. Shut up. He's not Brad Marchand. He wasn't a captain. He never got them to the playoff. I love you, JJ Peterka. Stop it. Do not ruin the tribute with that crap. Maybe give him oh, hey, welcome back, JJ. Not a video trip. I don't want to see highlights of his goals. I don't want to see him hugging Stop it. Stop
You
that.
just watch next week when Buffalo comes to the Delta Center, I guarantee you they give Kesselring and Doan a video
I'm going to be
Doan played less than half the season with us. It has no lasting impact, but I guarantee you they video tribute Doan and Kesselring.
The only thing Doan ever did was earn my love. I love
that.
Josh Doan.
That's a very flat brim thing to do, would be to give those two a video tribute.
It's silly. It would just be for the clicks.
They're going to do it.
Silly.
They're going to do it.
It's silly.
But it's going to get clicks.
Both of them were a critical part of so far 98% of our franchise history.
That's true. Well, Kesselring was a pretty important part. Doan for 50% of our history.
How dare you? Josh Doan.
He was in the AHL for most of the time.
He is the son of hockey.
Hey, that's part of our franchise.
Like it was.
All right,
that's part of our franchise.
Let's get back on track. Should we beat the Buffalo Sabres? Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Of course we should. Like, I'm not trying to disregard them. Rasmus Dahlin is going to request a trade before the trade deadline. They're a failing franchise. The only thing we really got to watch, I don't know if Jordan Greenway got suspended for his hit in the Washington game. I haven't really kept up with anything. Other than that, Buffalo, their goalie situation is terrible. Really, we are just a better team than them. And I hate to say that. Alex Tuck is good. I like Alex Tuck. But overall, yeah, we're better than. And if we lose, I'm going to feel real dumb. I mean, not dumber than I normally do on any given day. I'll feel real dumb.
I'm just saying, if we lose to Buffalo, I am going to hit the panic mode because I can say that the Tampa Bay Lightning beating us 5-game win streak for their team, like that's an acceptable loss against a good team who's now getting back to their potential that they showed. You will never convince me that the Buffalo Sabres, as currently designed, are a team that should compete with the best in the league. And
They're
so
not a
if they
team.
compete with us and
Just
beat us,
leave
that
it
means
there.
we are not the best in the league. And we should be. At least we're playing like it early in this season. And if we come back to earth in the month of November, I'm going to be a very, very sad panda.
I don't think it'll be time to panic, but it's kind of like gripping the steering wheel just a little bit tighter and like checking your rear view mirrors. You're not scared yet, but like it's winter, the snow's starting to fly a little bit. You look down at the temperature gauge and it's at like 30 degrees. You're like, shit, this is a little bit like this is dangerous territory. Like things are adding up to this being dangerous. So like it's not panic time yet, but it is kind of like maybe turn down the radio a little bit, focus a little bit more, grip the steering wheel a little bit tighter, hover your foot over the gas instead of keeping it to the floorboards. Like it's close to it, but we're gonna win. This is a perfect game for El Capitan Clayton Keller to round back into form, score a goal or two, or join the hat trick club. We got a few of those already. Just keep piling them, but everybody gets one. Just figure it out. Clayton Keller bounces back. We beat Buffalo. It's all right.
It's pretty wild. We've already had 2 this season when we only had 1 all of last season. I think that's pretty awesome. But you know what's interesting about this 4-game road trip is we tour Canada, right? So we play Buffalo, which obviously is not Canada, but might as well be. It's pretty darn
Essentially.
close. Then we take a short drive up to Toronto, and then we go to Montreal, and then we go to Canada's nation's capital of Ottawa to round out the road trip. It's 2 back-to-backs, 4 games, 6 nights, double back-to-back. Tuesday, Wednesday, Saturday, Sunday. How this team plays that's quite a bit of hockey in 6 games. And for 2 of them to be back-to-backs, it's a little different if it was the back-to-back and then maybe a Friday, Sunday type game. But it's back-to-back, 2 days rest, back-to-back. And how the team handles that against a very, very good Montreal team, a struggling Toronto team that seems to have no idea where they want to go post Mitch Marner, and an Ottawa team who is starting their goalie. He's got, Linus Ullmark has 11 starts of their 13 games. He's got like a .86 save percentage. Ottawa and Buffalo should be Ottawa wins. Toronto should be a win, and we can chalk up a Montreal loss. 3-1 on this road trip would feel really, really good. If we start out with a loss against Buffalo, then 0-4 is not out of the question.
So I'm just going to throw this in there. I don't necessarily, the way Utah played these last 2 games, yes, chalk up Montreal to a loss. But if we bounce back to what we were playing just during that 7-game stand, not even the best of the 7-game homestand, Montreal is a very good young team, but they're not perfect. They are also young and very easy to pick apart in a way. So I'm not going to necessarily chalk that game automatically as a loss. I'm willing to chalk it up as the most likely to be a loss. It is the game that, yeah, most likely we're probably, yeah. But if we play a good game, we should compete with Montreal, if not beat Montreal. We're just as fast as them. Sure, they got a goal Caulfield. We got a Dylan Gunther. Like, we're fine. Like, bet. They got a whatever defenseman. We got a whatever Russian defenseman. Everybody has a Russian defenseman. It's fine. The Toronto game, I feel like Toronto is one of those teams where, yeah, they don't know what they want to be. They don't know what they're doing. So that one could go either way. I don't know how they've been the last couple of games. Probably not great.
They've beaten the Pens and the Flyers 2 in a row.
It
They've got 2 wins
does
in a row.
not impress me. You beat the Flyers. Ooh, cool. Congratulations.
Flyers are down there with Buffalo. But last year, Ottawa had our number. We lost both games to Ottawa, only scored 1 goal in both of those games and gave up 7. But last year Ottawa was good and they had Brady Tkachuk. Well, they don't have Brady Tkachuk right now. And so it's like, these are the opportunities to win. But we look at these schedule and it's like, the question mark is for everybody, are the Utah Mammoth a team that will compete in the Central Division, or are the Utah Mammoth that at best will compete for the 8th and final wild card spot, which is kind of what we projected to begin the season. So maybe the sky is falling if we struggle on this road trip. Maybe that's not the best way, because it's like, well, we only projected them at the 8th seed anyway. As long as they stay there, they're okay. But they gave us a taste of greatness. That 7-game win streak unlocked in me, the fan that saw the height that we expect this team to be in 2, 3, 4 years. And I want it now. I want it all, and I want it now.
So on the subject of panicking on is this when we panic, I think that it's not necessarily a time to just go into panic mode, but it's early enough to where we can notice that the storm is a-coming. You know, like Dustin was saying, we can take our foot off the gas. We can make changes still early on. Go out and make a trade. You know what I mean? Like, you have no problem going after guys in free agency. Go trade somebody, Armstrong. Go get another bottom 6 guy. Shake it up. Do something. You know what I mean? Like, at this point, don't let the storm catch us. We got to get ahead of the storm. That's what a good hockey team would do. And I think we definitely have the money and the pieces that if we need to move on from somebody, we can. And yeah, we might have to lose somebody we like as a fan base out of the bottom 6. As long as it's not Alex Kerfoot, I will get over it. I'm not going to lie. But there is still time to, if this road trip goes bad, then yeah, the storm got here a lot faster than we thought, and this got out of hand. But there's still time to fix whatever mistakes are happening or coming. And with the I feel like this isn't talked about enough, but the loss of Alex Kerfoot has really put a damper on a lot of things. And I feel like you can't replace Kerfoot, but maybe try until he's back. You know what I mean? Go get a guy. You still got months. We can still work with something. You can figure something. I don't know. I'm not a GM.
Yeah, I think this road trip answers the old, like, cliche, are they contenders or are they pretenders? You know, like, is this actually going to be, like, if they actually kind of skipped a step in the evolution towards a contender and just kind of jumped up to the top of the standings? Or is it going to be like, okay, this is what we thought, like, they're going to be fighting for a playoff berth. This is just the next step in the climb up the mountain towards being a contender. I think that's what this road trip is going to answer.
It's going to feel really bad if we put them number 3 in our power rankings and then they immediately lose 3 straight. That's going to feel real bad. But
we have to immediately take them out if they do. Like, we just have to be like, oh, our bad.
Everybody else's power rankings did too. At this early stage, you kind of have to look at the standings and say, these are where the teams are. We took a leap of faith and put Carolina 2. That hasn't really panned out. Colorado looks better than Vegas. These power rankings are going to shift. I just don't want to see Utah make the jump into the power rankings for the first time and then immediately tank. Because I'll tell you, another Utah team that gets to the highest expectations and tends to not live up to the billing. And I don't want to see that. I don't want to see our beloved Utah Mammoth go down that road. Guys, I want to get your predictions of a record of what you think on this road trip, and then I want to talk about one last thing for the episode. Dustin, what do you see wins, losses over these next 4 road games?
3-1. I would prefer 3-0-1. Obviously, more points is good, but 3 wins, 1 loss. That's
Ryan,
what I'm expecting.
Your projection?
2-1-1. I think we're going to go 2-1-1, which I'll take that. I'll sneak, you know what? I'll take 5 points out of it.
Hey, Colorado's living on that extra point, right? They're living on those overtime points.
I'm hoping for a 2-1-1, but my heart tells me it's going to be 2-2. And I think I'm okay with that.
My heart's slightly on the opposite. My heart says 4-0. My brain says 2-2, and I don't like it. And part of my brain is saying it could be 1-3. But that's the mayor of Negative Town talking, because I like to shield my heart. I like to lower my expectations so I can never be disappointed. So now I've got the highest of highs. But we talked about shaking it up. We talked about maybe going out and getting a guy in a trade. I want to go back to my what now looks like a very, very bad take of Simashev gets 15 games and then he's gone. While I don't think that's happening, I don't quite think he's lived up to what he has. And I think at some point he's kind of holding back Sergachev being on that top defensive line. You saw in the Tampa Bay game, they switched it up. Nate Schmidt played a little bit with Sergachev. But Ryan, I thought about something as you're talking about a trade. There's a big clamoring to bring in Daniil Boot from the Tucson Roadrunners. If they do that, do you think this team is getting better because of that? Or is that move to say we need to see what the future has because we need to start evaluating what contracts we want to keep and which ones they want to go?
That one, the second one. But also, that could be a nice little shakeup because the kid, he's scoring, right? Like he's
scoring in Tucson.
Bring him up. What is hurting? The bottom six isn't scoring. What is the AHL for? If not, that exact thing. Now, sure, my guy Yamamoto is probably going to have to get the seat for the kid to get called up. But, hey, he's used to it as much as that breaks my heart. But I also wouldn't be opposed to give Jack McBain a night off. And I'm sure he's not going to appreciate it. And I know it sucks benching $5 million in cap space, but shake it up a bit. You know what I mean? Show some of the guys like, hey, you step up. Like you're not, you know what I mean? Like if you're not going to contribute to the team, I'm not saying you're replaceable, but you're replaceable. Like I'm not going to say it, but you know what this means. Call the kid up. What is the worst that could happen? We still don't score?
No. I don't think we have somebody who can play center. I don't even think Jack McBain is. I know he's a
he
natural
can't even
center.
play
I
center.
don't like him at center.
None of
I
them
don't like him at
Barrett
center.
Hayden is the only one, and he's barely like the best at it, and that's just because he's the best on the team. It's not
Don't be
great.
surprised if Kerfoot comes back. I would like to see Kerfoot get reunited with Stenlin as a winger, but don't be surprised if Kerfoot plays center on that third line. Dustin, do you think maybe if this road trip doesn't go the way, or maybe do we have to wait till the end of November to start maybe looking at, well, maybe see what Daniil Boot, because we threw Simashev in and that worked. So maybe it's time to give the other Russian a try.
I like it. Like Ryan just said, like the bottom six, they're not scoring. So if you experiment, what are you losing out on if he comes in and he doesn't score also? Like, okay, you took off one guy who's not scoring to play another guy who's not going to come in and score. Bring him up. Give Jack McBain that, like, hey, you better step it up one game, like scratch to say, hey, get your head in this shit. Like you got to step it up. You're way behind. You're like way behind. You're not scoring. No use for scorers who don't score, right? Either of you guys watch Shoresy? That scene where they're talking to I think it's Fish, where he's like, how many goals did you give us last game? The game before that, none. The game before that, none. The game before that, none. You either score or you're cut. There's no use for scorers who don't score.
The boys don't, it's not that they love winning, they don't hate to lose.
They don't hate to lose. But yeah, bring him up.
I think the appropriate.
And either put him in Yamamoto's spot. Like, I don't want to see Yamamoto scratched or sent down for Tuna. But if you're doing it for Boot and just to experiment a little bit with somebody who's proven that he can score, at least in the AHL, like Doan did the same thing. He went and played in the AHL, showed that he could score, came back up and scored. So just what have you got to lose if your bottom six isn't going to score? There's nothing to lose.
You can always let him play 10 games and then send him right back down. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But I just worry that they're only going to do it to start evaluating who he could potentially replace and maybe who they can send away.
The other thing, and this might just be kind of like a superstitious thing to say, look at all the rookies who are showing out this year. There's a ton of them. Why not be like, maybe we can jump in on this rookie magic season, bring up a rookie. See, Simashev, sure, the offense isn't there, but he is playing really, really, really good defense with Sergachev. I really like the kid. He's much better than Lamoureux. Simashev has taken, I don't know how many he's taken. He's playing good. The offense will come. We talked about it later. But yeah, the rookie, this is the year of the rookie. Call him up. See what happens.
And
Title that the episode. See what happens.
Daniil Boot is a Gagarin Cup winner, too. So he's not even just an 18-year-old.
I don't know what
he's coming
that
out of
means.
Russia. So he's the KHL champion of the world, my friend.
That's actually, you know what? People will try to talk shit on the KHL, but like, if you ever watch the KHL, it is elite hockey. Like, it's a they are very good at hockey. That's pretty good. Pretty good.
The one thing that I would consider, and this is the uninformed about contracts and shit like this fan take, if you send Yamamoto down to make room for Boot, Does he just go down to the AHL or does he need to clear waivers?
He's got to clear waivers, so it's safer to probably send Kevin Rooney down, unless your goal is to bench McBain, and then Kevin Rooney can play center. But I don't think that Kyler Yamamoto clears waivers. Carcone might.
No, neither one of them are clearing
waivers.
waivers.
He does not. So your
Not
best
every
bet,
team, but there are Calgary, San Jose. All of them would love to have a bottom six guy like that to come in and fight for a spot, because that is what I think all of us love about Kyler Yamamoto is he earns every second of ice time every single game, and he still doesn't get enough ice time in my opinion. I think he should be out there more. I love the kid.
I will say, I completely spaced the fact that we had called up Kevin Rooney and he would just get sent back down.
Who the
because
Kevin
nobody
Rooney?
knows who he
Kevin
is. Yeah.
Rooney's-
He was just,
when we sent Agazino down, we called up Kevin Rooney.
Send him
And
back.
actually,
Just the
when
guy
we
so we can have
sent
23.
Agazino down, I think everybody assumed like this either means that Kerfoot is healthy or it
Or
means
Boot.
we're calling up
Yeah.
Boot, and we called up Kevin Rooney. So
and we haven't used him to send a message to Jack McBain that he's got to be better. That was maybe Turney saying to Jack McBain, I'm calling up a center. You know I'm not benching Cooley. You know I'm not benching Hayton. You know I'm not benching Stenland, but I've got to play this center somewhere. And Jack still didn't get the wake-up call. So maybe that...
It's probably because it's hard to bench $5.75 million in
I think
whatever.
so. I did misquote. He is his AAV against the cap is only 4.2. I think with signing bonuses he
Still.
can be a 5 million man, but he's only 4.2, just making a shade under Lawson Krause. But that's still a lot of money. That's
I was
still a
going to
lot
say,
of
it's
money.
still a lot of money to bench, but also not enough money to where you can't bench him to send a message.
Mhm.
It's not about
He
the
got a
money. It's
contract,
about sending a
earn it.
message.
I thought 4 was too much for him, but such is the way of life. I think it's going to be very difficult to find quality 4 million guys in the future of the NHL. I think those guys are probably going to be closer to 5 or 6 now. So the fact that we locked him up for 5 years at 4.2, not bad. But we're almost out of time here, guys. Do you have any closing thoughts before we get on out of here and get ready for this double back-to-backer?
I have an award to award.
An award to an award, you say? Tell me more.
I have an award to award. It is the second week of the Nick Schmaltz of the Week award. And it'll come with a big announcement tomorrow when the episode drops. But what better place than our own podcast to announce the second winner? If you remember correctly, the winner of the inaugural Nick Schmaltz of the Week award last week was one Nicholas V. Schmaltz.
Mhm.
And of course, if you remember, V stands for Very Good Hockey, Nicholas V. Schmaltz. So, without further ado, I'll give you a little drum roll that you probably can't hear. With 1 assist, 3 shots, and a team leading 46 shifts over the last 2 games, the winner of the second Nick Schmaltz of the Week award is Nick Schmaltz, everybody.
Yes!
Round of
Yes!
applause.
Yes!
Nick
Back to
Schmaltz,
back,
your
baby.
Nick Schmaltz of the Week award winner. It was a rough week, but Nick Schmaltz was still Nick Schmaltz out there, which was really good to see. His brother making some headlines in local Twitter news, but Nick Schmaltz, still the headliner of that family, still the headliner of the Nick Schmaltz of the Week award. 2-time winner now. Congratulations once again, Nick Schmaltz, the winner of your Nick Schmaltz of the Week award.
I didn't know that he could do it, but I am so proud of my guy, Nick Schmaltz, for winning these back-to-back, because this is an award that everybody on the team is looking for. They're all looking, it's bulletin board material, they're all looking, and now what it is, it's going to light a fire under all their asses, because they're like, you know what? I really thought I was going to win the Nick Schmaltz of the Week award. But again, we talk about this at length. Who embodies the work ethic, the production, the just overall essence of the Nick Schmaltz award? And it's got to be Nick Schmaltz, and I love it. Back to back, my man. Good work. Good work.
Congratulations, Nick Schmaltz.
Your closing thoughts.
We're going buffalo hunting, so get ready.
But
Mammoth
are we
are
hunting
extinct?
buffaloes or are we hunting sabers? They're from
Nah,
Buffalo,
so-
but they are not Buffalo.
So they are buffalo. We are hunting the buffaloes. We're going into the city of Buffalo, and we are hunting this buffalo. We're going buffalo hunting.
Are we hunting them with sabers? Like, are
Sure.
we on Mammoth back with
BYO,
sabers?
BYOW, Dustin. Bring your own weapon. Whatever you
Perfect.
want to do.
We
Whatever
are
you want. I'm bringing
hunting the bison
Molotov
to
cocktails
extinction.
and a baseball bat.
I don't know if we could publish that part, but we're going to try. We're going to talk to the censors and see. We're going to talk to the censors and see. But we are going to hunt them to extinction. And then we're going to go in and then we're going to embarrass Toronto. And then we're going to go say, hey, Montreal, we're the true up and coming team. And then we're going to go to Ottawa to say, well, Ottawa, you got us last year, but not this year. Big 4-game road trip coming up to end it before they are back at home at the Delta Center. Let's see if we can right the ship. We had a lot of 3+ game losing streaks last year. One thing we struggled with was coming back from those and getting our own streaks. So let's start it. 4-game win streak on the road would be lovely. But you are all lovely. We appreciate it. Thanks so much for coming out. Everybody, have a great night.